Ugh, that's just so gross. Please don't speak. In another episode checking out the actual story of the game, we're going to be covering the darkest story so far, and quite possibly the darkest story of the entire game, based upon things that I've read online. And just the start is it tackles subjects that the other ones really don't, and even then, I love puns. I didn't mean to make this a pun, but it dances around the subject until near the end, and it just tickles me so many colors beyond just pink that I not only get to say a horrific pun in this episode, but also that it covers something that we just don't see in a lot of media. So Primrose, her class is dancer, and we're going to go into how she became a dancer and all that stuff. Dancer as a class seems to be a buffer and debuffer. She also does darkness damage, which I don't know. It's probably in some lore stuff that I glanced over and didn't fully absorb yet. But in my mind, I'm like, is the darkness that she perceives from inside of others, and she is able to harness that? So sort of, because you really get to see how it is to be an entertainer in a sexual manner in her story, in that there's a lot of jeering, a lot of cat calls and the like, and just generally being seen as an object rather than as a person. Like we can cheer on a comedian doing a stand-up performance, but the same sort of cheering to, say, a stripper or to an erotic dancer like she is, it's not the sort of same energy and care that you would get. And the yeah, it's we just don't really get to see that kind of stuff covered. So on to her backstory. If you guessed that she had daddy issues, well, give yourself a pat on the back, because like most of the characters, there's daddy issues. I don't think I mentioned, yeah, in the last episode, I don't know if I implicitly said daddy issues, but Obrick he's the daddy who's going to be solving the issues. Philip is the one with the daddy issues. Quite possibly Philip's mother as well. Obrick, I don't know. Obrick seems sort of like me in that I don't want to be called daddy. People are gonna keep trying to fucking call him daddy, and I'm just like, I can see it happening. Obrick just like, oh fuck, what's the word for it? Just he just gives in. He's like, okay, you can call me that, Philip's mom. I still don't think she's gonna get a name. So yeah, Primrose, daddy issues. Her dad found something out. I was multitasking at the time, so I didn't quite get to. I think one of my roommates pulled open my door to talk to me about something, and so I was just sort of like trying to like get through the cutscene and try to absorb as much as I could as they were trying to. I think he just held the cat at me, and I was like pointing at my headset, and I waved at the cat, and then he went back out with the cat. I think that's what was happening. So Primrose's dad got diddly darn done in by three dudes with crow tattoos, and so she is on a mission to go kill three dudes with crow tattoos. And her journey has taken her to a town. I think it was like the town of 1,000 pleasures. So far, the pleasures mostly just seem to be like spices and scantily clad women. That's only two pleasures. So I don't know if there's 998 other pleasures that I just don't know about or what's going on. So, yeah. She began her journey fairly young. I can't remember what they said her age was. She was probably like 10 to 12 years old when she lost her daddy. Her dad, they were a noble family, and because of his death and all that, they lost the house. I don't know if it was quite explained. I might have to go and like watch some old footage or something, I think everybody has like little lore snippets and stuff, but I'm just like, wouldn't it just go to like her or to like whoever was next of kin? Anyway, after her dad died, she set off to hunt these dudes down. One of them frequented a tavern, and so she
Quite the dancer yourself,
enrolled
Emilia.
into the tavern as a dancer girl. Though the implications were that she was still very, very young, and the owner of the tavern, very, very slimy. He's a walrus of a man. You know when like cartoon walruses talk and they talk with like the most blubbery of voices? Yeah, this dude sounds like that. Now imagine that fucking voice, that goddamn fucking voice, being like, "Oh, kid." He is that sort of motherfucker. He's like, "You're gonna purr for me," and oh man, it just gets worse. I felt physical discomfort. It got to the point where near the end of her story, when he was just, he was doing his villainous breakdown speeches, and I'm just like, I was just, I don't even think they might have been voiced. I think I didn't skip through the ones that weren't voiced, but I was just like, I don't want to hear him say these things. He's a piece of shit. He needs to die soon. It was not a lot of villains can bring me that level of physical discomfort. It's, yeah, villains that are sexually exploitative are always the worst ones in terms of just the sheer gross factor of them. The fact that he was, yeah, just this blubberous mound of a man didn't help. And plus, she was underage. Like, even, people think that people, they all got married at like 13, 14 back then because they assumed that everybody died at 30. So the thing is, right, back in the day, a lot of babies would die like early on in or like little kids. So if the child mortality rate's through the roof, the average age goes down a lot because if a lot of kids are dying at like between 0 and 5, that brings down the average age of dying from 60 or so to 30. So people will be like, "Oh, you only live to 30." That's not how that works. Yeah, people live to 60 fairly often. So yeah, it's not in fact normal that this dude was like, "Oh, sweet, a 13-year-old." Man, he's just the stereotypical Discord moderator. Just I don't even want to make the joke. I'm just gonna go to the next. Oh fuck! I'm just going to the next line in my notes. Yeah, I just have to out. Helgadish is a slimy cunt. My notes are bullet points. Yeah, he's a fairly realistic take on sexual abuse, and they did it really well in a way that a lot of. Here's the thing: the game's fairly like kid friendly for the most part. Like this is, I think it's what, like rated T or something. I'll double check really quick while I'm reading off the next part. We'll talk about something that was totally positive in that her dungeon dope as fuck. I love like Arabic themed things and Spanish guitar, and I believe there was elements of both because her theme song. I don't know if I mentioned in the previous episode, but when I was going on Spotify to check out the themes for all the different characters, I was like, "Oh, she's a dancer. It's probably gonna be like Spanish guitar," and I heard that shit, and it was so fucking good. I love. It's just so good. Her dungeon altogether, really cool architecture. The layout was pretty neat. It's like an under sand temple. It reminded me of like a Zelda temple, and it's just between the enemies like snake people, the environment. Let's see, Octopath. Are you rated M? Octopath. I think it might be rated M. Wait, Octopath 2 is rated T. What's Octopath 1? What is Octopath 1 rated? I'd have to do some heavy Googling. Google, ever since AI took over, has just been shit. I'm just like, what is just I would just look up Octopath ESRB rating. Octopath ESRB rating. God damn you. What is it? Yeah, T for teen. Totally. Yeah. Nintendo Switch. Let's see. What is 2 rated? Is T... Yeah, also T. Yeah. blood, fantasy, violence, mild language, suggestive themes. I would say it goes beyond suggest. Well, no, I guess it's still like a teen friendly equivalent, because up until his villainous breakdown, they sort of just hint that there's some fucking going on. It generally seems just to be not dissimilar to just how hostesses operate in terms of sexuality. Well, they generally don't show as much skin, but yeah, he just is full on like, put your mouth where it belongs, kitten. And I'm just like, ugh, that's just so gross. Please don't speak. Thankfully, she does end up slitting his throat. That's great. I'm probably gonna include that part in. I just love seeing him die. It's great. So it's probably the video's probably gonna be like the later half of the battle, and then the after battle shit with him. His battle was pretty neat. He was sat in a chair and was a big fat fuck off asshole, and it was just great, just fucking him up. Oh yeah, back to the notes. Dungeon, dope as fuck. Did that. 10 out of 10 dungeon. I did get confused in one spot, but if I just looked down harder, I would have seen how to get there, and that I couldn't loop around. There was a character throughout her entire origin, like, once she gets to the dance place, once the active playing time, and the character's name is Yusufa. And Yusufa is a fellow dancer. She seems to be a bit younger than Primrose, so probably like 18 or so. And I guess she saw that Primrose was just like, oh, what's the term? She isn't quite tsundere, but she's like sugar and ice, is that another way to put it? And it's not even that. She's polite and just reserved. She's not a bitch, but she's nice underneath, and I guess she showed Yusufa kindness than the other dancers. The other dancers were very bitchy, and it's brought up in it's oh fuck. Yeah, Yusufa brings up the whole, we're all struggling together, why the fuck are you being cunts about it? And the other dancers they're just little cunty little fucks. They even put I think a thorn or something in Primrose's spare pair of sandals, and she fucks her foot up. But yeah, it's Yusufa, along with how my old man was a trans dude, my none of my being raised was considered normal amongst people. My birth giver was a drug addicted prostitute. I guess the implication, through the video, is that I don't condemn sex work in any way. Like, it would be hypocritical for me to, with the amount of pornography I've consumed throughout my entire life. But yeah, I've deep sympathies for all of these girls. But the person who gave birth to me, extremely shitty human being. She was, abused by her mother, growing up, to the point where, oh sweet grandmama, broke a broom over my birth giver's back. A wooden broom, one of those thick ass brooms, it would be nice to get one of those actually for the house. Anyway, yeah, just shitty childhood, but she continued the cycle abuse with me, and in ways that her mother never even did. Just really fucked up my childhood. And so I've always had complicated relations with things such as this. At least if it's like the other three girls, the other three dancers, I'm like, yeah, they're just really cunty little bitches. Both Yusufa and Primrose, I'm especially sympathetic, and I feel bad for Yusufa especially, because she's the girl that gets killed off, and it helps show who Primrose is on the inside, and that she is caring. It's just that she doesn't know what to care about yet, because I think it's explained later on in her story, but her only caring about the revenge against the Crowmen is something that supersedes any amount of joy or happiness that she could ever find in life. And it's something that is self-destructive in the end. Not that they don't deserve to die for what they did, but that her only reason for existing, the only reason she put up with the sexual abuse, amongst other abuses, all these years, is to get to these men and kill them. Admittedly, she did. Yeah, she was in a bad spot, and there was just no real. We don't have enough context and framework to know what other path she could have taken, but she did take this path, and it'll be interesting to see her going down the path and see where it all goes. But what really stood out to me was after Yusufa died and Primrose took care of Helganish, I had to look at his name again. She wanders off into the desert and says something that fucking got me crying again, where she says, "We're free at last, my friend." And the thing with Yusufa is that her dying words were basically asking Primrose if they were friends, and it's just so fucking touching. So yeah, I guess I'll just end there. See you next time.